Welcome to Speak English with Energy.
Hello and welcome to Speak English with Energy.
I'm Lisa, and I'm here with Victor. Let's talk about sounding professional in English.
You know, like in a meeting or a presentation, we want to sound confident. I remember a time when I had to give a presentation at work. My boss and colleagues were there, and I was really nervous. I used simple English, and it actually helped me to be more clear and effective.
That's so true. Using simple English can make a big difference in how we communicate. I've had students who were afraid to speak up because they thought they needed to use complex vocabulary. But the reality is, it's not about using big words, it's about being clear and concise.
Exactly, and that's what we're going to explore in this episode: how to sound professional without using difficult English.
So, let's get started and find out how we can improve our English and sound more professional in our daily lives.
I recall a situation at work where simplicity helped me. I was explaining a project to a client, and I used very basic terms. The client understood everything right away, which was great.
That's a perfect example of how simplicity can be effective. It's not just about being clear, but also about being respectful.
Exactly. We don't want to confuse our audience with complicated language. I've seen presentations where the speaker used jargon and lost everyone. But when we use simple English, we can connect with people better.
It's about finding the right balance between being professional and being clear. We should focus on the message we're trying to convey.
That's why we'll discuss some practical tips in this episode. We'll explore how to use everyday language in a professional setting.
And we'll share some real-life examples to illustrate the points. So, let's dive in and learn how to sound professional without using difficult English.
I had a friend who thought using big words made him sound professional. But actually, it had the opposite effect, and people found him hard to understand.
That's really interesting. What happened to him?
Well, he realized that simplicity is key in professional communication. And now he focuses on getting his point across clearly.
I think that's a great lesson for all of us. Using everyday language can make us sound more approachable and professional.
Exactly, and it's not about dumbing down our language, but about being aware of our audience and adapting our communication style.
What if our audience is highly specialized, though?
Even then, using clear and concise language is crucial. We can still use technical terms, but explain them in simple ways.
That makes sense, and it's all about finding that balance between being professional and being clear without using overly complicated language.
One practical tip is to focus on the main message and avoid using jargon or complex terms.
That's a great point, Victor. How can listeners apply this tip?
Well, they can try simplifying their language in everyday conversations, like explaining a technical concept to a friend or family member.
I see what you mean. It's about being aware of our audience and adapting our communication style accordingly.
Exactly. And another common mistake is using overly formal language, which can come across as insincere or even pretentious.
That's so true. I've noticed that in some business meetings, where people use formal language to sound more professional.
But it's actually more effective to be clear and concise, and use a more approachable tone to build trust with our audience.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great takeaway for our listeners this week. I'd like to share an example of this from my own experience in a team meeting, where I had to explain a project update.
That sounds like a great opportunity to practice speaking clearly and confidently.
Did you ever have a similar experience?
Actually, I recall a presentation I gave at a conference, and it went really well.
What made it successful, in your opinion?
I think it was my focus on the audience. So to recap, being professional doesn't mean using complicated words.
Right. And it's about being clear and respectful in our communication.
Exactly. And using a friendly tone can make a big difference.
I think a key point is to focus on our message, not just the words we use.
One actionable tip is to practice speaking in a more approachable way.
Like in a low-stakes conversation, where we can try out a new tone.
And see how it feels to speak clearly and kindly without using jargon.
That's a great idea, and it can help us build confidence in our communication skills.
By being ourselves and speaking from the heart, we can connect with others more easily.
Well said, Victor, and I think our listeners will really benefit from this conversation.
Goodbye, and see you next time on Speak English with Energy.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep speaking English with energy. See you in the next episode.